Well, headed home. You know, it's people don't understand. I don't understand. I was watching Vodi Bakum the other day, and he was talking about how the memories that will haunt you the most are the sins that you commit. And I never thought about that, but it hit so much at home with me about now the sins that I know from the past is haunting me terribly now. Some of them I really want to just wipe out of my mind. But we're human. You know, we only forget for a season. And those memories come back. You know, I think about what I was living in years ago when me and Lori met. And what I was doing then. And what mattered most to me then. And what didn't matter to me then, and all these other things. And you know, the one thing I think people miss the point about, I think truly that most people, especially like I was then, because I wasn't what you would call a bad person. I hung around with some ignorant folks and, you know, that kind of thing, but I wasn't what you would consider a bad person. I wasn't a drug addict. I drank some, but I wasn't a drug addict. But, you know, all I was really looking for, as the old country song, looking for love in all the wrong places. Now, I was fortunate enough to find the love of my life. Even in the wrong places. Now, some people doesn't think God lines things up like that, you know, that's just happen chance. I don't believe that. That's the same as saying that the earth just happened by chance. God had set that in motion years ago. He set it in motion for me and Lori to meet. He set it in motion for the things the good things that happened. We opened the door to a lot of bad things to happen. People say, well, now how can you say that? How can you say that, Joe? Because I wasn't living for God. I was living in sin. Now, remember, the Bible says that it rains on the just and the unjust. It rains on the just too. Bad things happen to good people. But it all depends on who you have to turn to. Are you going to turn to God? Are you going to turn to man? Are you going to turn to the world? Man and the world really are one and the same. But who are you planning on turning to? And you have to understand that we're all really just looking for love. And what is God? The Word says God is love. What does it say about God? The Word is God. God is the Word. The Word was made flesh and dwelled among us. God is the Word. The Word is God. You can't have the Word without God. It's just like you can't have God without the Word. And so we have to understand that we live lives that are we live in a world that's dominated by Satan. Do we understand that? Do we understand that Satan is the prince and the power of this air? Why do you think bad things happen to good people? Because Satan is the prince and the power of this air. Because we live amongst demons and devils and possessed people that are full of the devil and evil spirits. We live amongst all these people. Without the Spirit of God in us, we are susceptible to every single one of them. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be some that's going to hinder us, going to bring about bad things, going to trip us over into something that we shouldn't be in to begin with. But knowing God has got me, whether I stay at this earth or I leave this earth, that's the most important thing that I can have in my mind. We need to understand that. We got to understand that these memories of sin that we have to, we're not going to blot them out. You can't wallow in them, and you can't let them dominate you. And I've been guilty of that. Not necessarily my sins, but sins of your spouse or things like that you know about. You'll start dwelling on them. Why is that? Because you realize how bad it is. You realize how bad it is.